Batman Arkham Knight is the final installment in the Arkham Trilogy. Rocksteady are back in the driving seat, and while there are some references to the events of Origins, the game is clearly a direct sequel to the events of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Many were happy, myself included, to see Rocksteady back in control of the series. Though the real question here is, have they excelled themselves and surpassed the brilliance that was Arkham City? The answer is both yes and no. When it comes to gameplay, Arkham Knight clearly surpasses its predecessor. The robust combat system is back with some nice new additions. The introduction of environmental and Batmobile aided takedowns feel fun and fluid and combined perfectly with the existing combos from previous games. Batman feels both graceful and badass, though I will say that on occasion, when jumping from enemy to enemy, it feels a little overpowered and a bit far-fetched. But hey, this is Batman. Who wants reality? The dual combat as you fight alongside the likes of Catwoman, Nightwing and Robin is pretty fun too. Just build up your combo, tap L1 for an epic dual takedown and switch to the other character to try out their moves. Dotted throughout the game, these moments are awesome. A shame then that they don't happen nearly enough for my taste, and they feel like a wasted opportunity. They seem like a perfect chance for Rocksteady to introduce two-player co-op. Imagine gliding through the streets of Gotham with your friend and pulling off some sweet combos in two-player combat. It would be so cool. The biggest and new addition to Arkham Knight though is definitely the Batmobile. It's a cool new feature. The first time you skydive from the top of Wayne Tower and finish by jumping into a moving Batmobile is an iconic and epic moment for Batman fans. For years we have been waiting for the appearance of a playable Batmobile, and it's finally here. Rocksteady really had to get this mechanic right, and ultimately they succeed. The response and controls of the Batmobile are good. Drifting and driving around the city of Gotham is awesome, and it handles well. Although on occasion the camera does swing in a disorientating fashion, I would have preferred that the battle tank mode was not mapped to the R2 button, as this felt like a natural braking method, and often I would turn into the battle tank when I intended to brake or initiate a drift, which could be annoying, especially on timed laps or Riddler challenges. The battle mode for the Batmobile was generally good, and I loved the ability to upgrade the combat capabilities of the Bat Tank. There were some pretty cool features like a cannon, an EMP blast, a hacking feature, or the ability to lock onto multiple targets and destroy them with a hail of missiles. While the combat against enemy drones initially started out as fun and fresh, by the end of the game, these sequences sadly felt tired and repetitive and overused. The best and most original use of the Batmobile for me, though, was the problem-solving elements involved in helping Batman to traverse a level or access key points of interest. I loved the ability to remotely pilot the Batmobile and would have liked for this to be used more. Ultimately, the Batmobile was a nice fun addition to the game, if not a bit overused and forced upon players at times. I think Rocksteady failed to find a balance this time around. Another way in which Arkham Knight surpasses its predecessors is the sheer scale and visual fidelity of Gotham. The city is huge and chock full of character and fun Easter eggs. There are some nice references to Metropolis, Superman and LexCorp. A subtle hint for future projects for Rocksteady perhaps? The city of Gotham is not only wider but much taller than Arkham City, and it feels and looks pretty amazing when gliding above skyscrapers or performing teeth-rattling dives towards the streets below. The only element to Gotham City that I didn't like was the creative decision to remove all civilians from Gotham at the start of the game. I think it would have added more emotional resonance to the game if you had to patrol the streets and rescue innocent civilians from the mobs and criminals wreaking havoc. There's no real incentive to fight the bands of thugs dotted throughout the street, other than to pummel green glowing thugs that will give away useful intel and the location of Riddler trophies. The ultimate goal of rescuing Gotham from Scarecrow's scare toxin almost seems pointless. So what if he covers Gotham? There's no one living there. They're all bad guys. Batman could literally just sit back, let them kill each other, and then use his billions to rebuild Gotham again. Holy plot hole, Batman! Speaking of the Riddler, the trophies and mind-boggling puzzles are back and just as fun and engaging as ever. If you enjoyed the Riddler trophies in Arkham City, you will surely be in your element here. My only criticism here is that they do feel more forced upon you, and if you want to get the final true ending of the game, you will need to 100% those babies. The weakest element to the game for me was sadly the main story. The plot of Arkham City was far superior. The stakes just don't seem high enough here. Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight are mediocre villains at best. They're small fry compared to the likes of Joker, Hugo Strange, or Ra's al Ghul. Scarecrow never feels like a true threat to Batman, and the Arkham Knight comes across as a whiny brat. The most exciting element to him is the ultimate reveal of who he is. But this is signposted so blatantly during the course of the story that the ultimate reveal is both predictable and underwhelming. The only thing that saves the story is an epic twist, which I won't mention here for fear of spoiling you, and the cool exploration of Batman's mind and the psychological trauma that has occurred as a result of the events of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, which is pretty interesting. I was hoping here to see villains like Two-Face, Harley, Penguin, Bane, Deathstroke and Scarecrow finally banding together to take down the Batman. We have never seen this happen. In Origins, they're competing to take down the Batman. In Arkham City, they're fighting over territory and control. It would have been epic to see them actually working together in the main story, spurred on by the death of Joker to put aside their previous grievances and outsmart the Batman by teaming up and playing on their individual strengths. Villains like the Penguin and Two-Face are sadly sidelined as side characters here, relegated to side missions that are repetitive, uninspired, and downright boring. There is little interaction with Batman and even less impact or relation to the main story. These characters that provided some epic and memorable moments in Arkham City are sidelined for unmanned tanks and Batmobile chases and combat sequences? Really? It seems that Rocksteady have lost sight of their original vision and the main element that made the previous installments so great, and that is epic characters, storylines, and the incredibly rich lore available in the Batman universe. Another feature of the game which is weak in my opinion is the fact that there are no big boss battles. The only boss fights that there are unfortunately disappointing to say the least. While Arkham City and even Origins itself had some really cool boss fights and epic moments, sadly these are missing from Arkham Knight. Maybe I have unfair expectations of Rocksteady, but who can blame me when Arkham City was so great? Overall, Batman Arkham Knight is a good game, but it's a pale comparison to its predecessor and an unworthy end of an epic saga. And that's not to say anything of the complete debacle that was the PC port of the game. So overall, I would give it a 6 out of 10. The gameplay and twist in the story make this alone a worthy buy, though maybe not at full price. If you've played the previous installments, then you should definitely buy it, but if you're new to the franchise, wait and play the previous installments first.
There is no savior. No more hope. No more